Hold one. Arm drag. Whoa! This is
Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
Hold two. Arm bar.
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hurst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C-Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Sodas rule.
Yeah, they do.
Hold three. The moss-covered, three-handle family Gradunzo.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
Oh, yeah. It's the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. Thank you guys for checking out the Tuesday Night Wrestling Report edition of the RCWR Show. Coming at you live in progress right now on November 20th, 2012. Hey, how's everybody doing? I hope you all have made it safely to your destination, wherever you might be spending this Thanksgiving holiday. As I was on the road earlier today, and the traffic was just downright ridiculous on the freeway, but on a good note, no accidents, but it was just really jam-packed. A lot of people are pulling in those last-minute commutes to go visit their family. So if you're going to be traveling, make sure you give yourself an early start. Hey, the earlier, the better. You know how it is, especially the eve before Thanksgiving. That's when things really start to get pretty jam-packed. We got a pretty solid show lined up for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about the fallout from WWE Raw. Also hook you guys up with the very latest in wrestling-related news. As always, we're going to open up the fan lines, get you all's reactions to Raw from this past Monday. Now, if you have missed our post-show covering the Survivor Series pay-per-view, but you did see the pay-per-view, we'd love to hear back from you. It's okay if it's a couple of days past the pay-per-view. We don't mind talking about it. After all, this is a show tonight pretty much talking all things WWE related. So feel free to talk about the Survivor Series pay-per-view in case you weren't able to chime in your thoughts last time around on our post-show. Always, we got the chat room. It's open up right now. Feel free to jump on in there. It's at Blog Talk Radio. We also have the phone lines that will be opening up in the later part of the show. You can also interact with us live during the course of the episode right now. Just hit us up on Twitter at Infinity1Prod. You can also hit us up on Facebook at Infinity1 Productions. Like the page, befriend us, check it out. Always putting up fresh, new content, regular basis, daily basis at that. All right, so we saw a pretty damn right solid installment of WWE Raw from this past Monday night, where one of the main highlights was the WWE Champion CM Punk celebrating his 365th reign. Call it whatever you want, days, whatever. I'm just going to call it his 365th consecutive day as the WWE Champion. It is a feature that not too many men have been able to obtain. And it might be very hard to believe for some veteran WWE fans as they may question CM Punk's placement on the list, as he has now shot up to, what is it, folks, number 9 right now, number 8? I know he's right under Macho Man Randy Savage, but he's going to be able to squash that in just a couple of weeks. And CM Punk, in style, you know he was going to celebrate. We heard the rumblings all during the weekend. Even our good boy Zed was putting the tweet out there, hey, maybe we're finally going to get a new WWE title. It would be nice. We've seen those early designs floating around a couple of months back. Why don't we do it already? Let's go ahead. Let's see a new WWE title. I must admit, that was one idea I was thinking when I was kicking back watching it. I believe I actually ended up retweeting Zed because I actually thought that was a pretty solid idea. Why not bring in 1 year of dominance as a champion, celebrated in style, busts out a new belt, but it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case. Not just yet, at least. Very curious to see when that new belt is going to pop up. I know for those of you that might be going, new belt? Well, a couple of months back, it was like right around the summer, CM Punk had let a cat out the bag that WWE was working on revamping the title, and there were some early photos that were floating around of this newly designed title. It was still in the early stages, but from what we were able to see, it was just this humongous W that was just on a flat type of surface for the design, the main design, the centerpiece of the belt. I know some of you are kind of like, so wait, it's still what the WWE title is right now? No. It's just a humongous W is the best way I can describe it. It kind of reminded me of, if I were to describe it, it really looked ugly because the W was just so freaking huge. It looked like something out of a comic book. It looked like something somebody made while messing around with WWE 13. That's the best way I can describe the belt. But it looked like it had potential. Would have been nice to see the finished designs of it, but unfortunately, that's all that we had saw of this image. If you go check out our Facebook page, we have it posted on there somewhere. You just got to dig deep, but we did post it on our Facebook page. Instead, what we had got was a 1-2 punch by the WWE Champion, CM Punk, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, folks, we got to give Paul Heyman all the praise in the world because Paul Heyman, he delivered one solid promo as he was setting up the WWE Champion. I mean, you go to Paul Heyman, folks. Paul Heyman telling the WWE Universe that, hey, you bashed us when we were talking about Jerry the King Lawler, making fun of his heart attack. You bashed us all through uses of different social media, but you all are the same ones that sit up and say, I miss the WWE Attitude Era. I wish the Attitude Era would come back, give you a taste, and it's too much for you all. You can't handle it. And we see Paul Heyman just continue to just turn that knife right back at the fans there, saying to them, you all also sit up and chant ECW to me, but when we sit up and we give you some really great, groundbreaking television, it's too much for you. You can't handle it. And I thought that was a very interesting point that he had made. I thought it was just brilliant the way that Paul Heyman acknowledged it, and it just had me really getting the impression. And, of course, Paul Heyman, CM Punk, they've said it on numerous times that at least 95% of the times that these two guys are going out there, they aren't even fed a script. They are just going out there and they are just letting it hang. They're just seeing however it goes. They're just going with the motions. And this was surely a case where Paul Heyman, you could tell this guy was really just speaking from the heart. And hands down, it was a really great promo. Of course, a lot of controversy from that Jerry Lawler fake heart attack angle displayed by Paul Heyman last week on Raw. Had a lot of fans very upset, a lot of fans going into very heated debates talking about was it wrong, was WWE in the right, and how much a difference a week makes, folks, because we had learned so much going into the Survivor Series pay-per-view. We learned that Jerry Lawler, Mick Foley, CM Punk, all these guys, they were fine with what was displayed on Raw last Monday. Jerry Lawler gave his blessings. He was all for it. And, you know, it's one of those things where, yeah, you may learn that, okay, we have these guys that gave it their blessing, but the main focus should still be, hey, when it's all said and done, this is during the PG era. It's only going to work at its truest potential if you remove that irritating PG rating, and that's really what it's about right now. And it's so funny because I had kicked back over the weekend as I was eagerly anticipating coming on for tonight's show, and I was just doing some homework, and I was learning quite a few things that I didn't really know about, as far as learning a little bit more about Vince McMahon and personal goals that he has had for the company for a long time, some goals that appear as if they may not be obtainable. And one of those goals is to be in a position where he can bank one of those top car distributors like a Buick, Mercedes, Lincoln. If you pay attention to the sponsors that WWE has, that you see on a weekly basis, they got the sodas, they've got the little energy drinks, maybe they got the little shaving thing, maybe a Walmart or a Kmart. They don't really have anything major as far as a headline retailer. I mean, they've got Mattel making their toys, which is a pretty good thing, but they really don't have that, just think about it. You guys have definitely feel what I'm talking about, especially if you've been paying attention to WWE for a long time. When have you ever seen a commercial with maybe Hulk Hogan or The Rock sitting up saying when they aren't busy throwing it down in the ring, they like to kick back and they like to push their Buick? Never. And it turns out that you got these commercials, you got these main distributors that are out there that Vince McMahon has been trying to bite into for years, but they don't want to have anything to do with the product. And it's funny because WWE has been doing such a hard job reshaping its image. I mean, just think about what all we got coming before this year is out. I mean, if you would have told me 5 years ago, hey, Lee, WWE is going to be working with the Rolling Stones and they're going to be producing and distributing one of their live shows via pay-per-view, I'd say, you know what, that sounds like a bunch of BS. Is Triple H and John Cena going to be popping up on stage fighting each other or something? I'm not really buying that. But sure enough, it's exactly what's going on. Now we got them dipping into movies and all this other stuff. Nice, weird transition that the WWE has been doing. There's a main point that I'm making to this, which is those main top sharks that McMahon may want, he's never going to be able to get them as long as he's continuing to display the type of acts that was displayed last week. But again, we're talking about last week. Let's talk about this week. Again, great promo by Paul Heyman, really throwing it back to the fans' faces, having a nice picture of CM Punk there in the ring, having the list of WWE champions that's there as he welcomes CM Punk down to the ring. Nice little ovation that CM Punk had received. But here is where things really start getting very interesting, because if you were paying attention and you know your wrestling news, you know that segment, you know that part of the show where Paul Heyman sat up and he was talking about how CM Punk is going to be a better champion than Bruno Sammartino. You're hearing that and you're saying to yourself, oh, no, they did not just go there. But they did go there. They actually brought up Bruno Sammartino. And just from a wrestling fan standpoint, I'm thinking to myself, my God, when was the last time WWE even mentioned the name Bruno Sammartino on live television? And I think you have to go back quite a long ways. I'd be shocked if that name was dropped this year, but to my knowledge, that name has not been dropped at all this year. It hasn't been mentioned in a good couple of years, and there's good reasons why that name was dropped. Let's not forget, for those of you that might have missed our show a couple of weeks back, we sat up and we gave you guys a report of how WWE, they've been very aggressive with Bruno Sammartino because they want to try to induct him into the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, they've been trying to accomplish this feature for a couple of years now, but seeing as how this coming year's WrestleMania is pretty much going to be in the New York backyard, so to speak, New York, New Jersey, they're neighbors, they figure, hey, it'd really be truly monumental, really great of a wrestling experience to be able to get Bruno Sammartino, because after all, New York, New Jersey, that's where the hardcore wrestling fan base is. Let's try to see if we can really make it big. And they had been trying earlier this year to negotiate with Sammartino, but Sammartino, he hasn't want to have anything to do with the WWE. At this point, the only person he is willing to talk to is Vince McMahon, and one of the long but short problems that Sammartino has is the issue of royalties, the correct amount that he feels is owed to him by Vince in the WWE. I know he also wants a movie to be made of him, perhaps by WWE. Just nice little short demands that he wants, but at this point it just seems like that sit-down between the WWE chairman and Sammartino just hasn't happened yet. It seems everybody else is talking to Sammartino, and when I say everybody else, at one point John Laurinaitis tried to talk to Sammartino, Triple H tried to talk to Sammartino. Everybody else has been trying to talk to Sammartino, but to the best of our knowledge, except Vince McMahon. So I found it really funny that his name was dropped right here, and you see Paul Heyman telling CM Punk, hey, you're a better champion than Bruno Sammartino. Why, when it comes to the Hall of Fame, yes, he may be a future Hall of Famer, but without a doubt, Punk, you're going to go in before him. So you're kind of hearing that, and you're saying to yourself, WTF, CM Punk has a long ways to go. Sammartino held that WWF belt for what, like 7 years, guys? And it was so funny because immediately, if you know you're wrestling and you're like, wait a minute, Bruno Sammartino, he had it for blah, blah, blah years. If you're thinking already on the spot, as you were seeing the segment, you're like, okay, CM Punk has a long ways to go. And it was so brilliant because that was the perfect transition into CM Punk saying, hey, I have a main feature that I'm now going to accomplish, because I'm not settled on where I'm at right now. I'm looking beyond. Right now, I want to be the longest reigning WWE champion, period. And he gives a date of, what is it, folks, June 25th, 2018, as on that day, he will be making an appearance on WWE Main Event, as he will officially be the longest reigning WWE champion in history, as he'll even surpass Bruno Sammartino, which really just kind of had a lot of people, especially those smart marks out there. They sat up and said, well, wait a minute now. CM Punk has already sat up and said that he's looking to retire right around 2015. He's really going to try to stick around that long. And the real question is, can anybody even hold that WWE title that damn long? And quite honestly, in today's society, today's wrestling world, that unfortunately, at least for the WWE, that's just not going to happen. Although, would it be nice to see something like that happen in the company? Oh, you bet your bottom dollar. It would be really kick-ass to see something like that. But just in the meantime, let's not look too far ahead. Let's look at what CM Punk was able to accomplish here. Just think about the list of WWE, in specific WWF Attitude guys that were champions that he surpassed. Folks, he surpassed The Undertaker. He surpassed Chris Jericho. He surpassed The Rock. He surpassed Bret Hitman Hart. He even surpassed the Deadly Assassin, the King of Kings, Triple H. All great names right there that I just mentioned. And he is really on that path to surpassing those other guys, but to be able to reach that feature of a Pedro Morales, a Bruno Sammartino, hell, Hulk Hogan, I'm sorry, I would love to see it happen, but I just don't see that happening. And, it's the way that WWE has set it up, because the way that they are suggesting it right now, and folks, this could be the biggest curveball of them all. The way WWE is billing this right now, Rock is going to take the belt away from CM Punk. Now, I was getting into quite a bit of conversations with some of you guys over the weekend, and I was even chatting it up with people on Xbox Live, and, great conversations I had, and everybody kept saying the same thing, though CM Punk, he's being set up for failure here. Why is he even going to be working this match with The Rock? It's obvious he's going to lose the strap. It makes no sense. You build up this number only to have The Rock come in, and he's doing a gazillion different projects, so he's really not even going to be able to be around for a really good moment for the WWE Universe to be able to absorb him coming back as a WWE Champion for however little bit of time that he's there. They won't really be able to have that full experience because he's going to be running off with the title, making a movie somewhere. And a lot of people were telling me, Lee, I don't know, this just seems like WWE is just bending over backwards for a guy that really doesn't have anything to do with the WWE except at this point maybe dealing with one of the most significant pay-per-views of the year just to really draw it top dollar. And I couldn't agree with that statement more. It really had me thinking, is there possibly a way that WWE can save this and actually have CM Punk continue to be one of the longest reigning WWE champions? Because just think about it, all the men that he's faced all this year, and yet he goes up against a guy that really has not been in the company that long, first encounter, and The Rock gets the belt. I don't know about you guys, but that kind of rubs me funny, just a little bit. I'll talk more about that in a little bit because I have a very interesting scenario I would like to see happen in the WWE, and it would be my personal message to the WWE if they really are kind of on the fence taking that belt off of CM Punk. It's a great suggestion. You guys will like it. But let's talk about that whole celebration thing. Unfortunately, it didn't last that long for the WWE Champion, as unfortunately we saw Mr. Feed Me More, Ryback, crash the scene. Now, remember, folks, just earlier in the night on Raw, we had saw Ryback have a pretty decent match with Tensai, although it had many of you saying, wait a minute, we just saw this. Why are these two bulls hooking it up again? Let's see something new happen. And Ryback, it was so funny because he was looking for payback from the beatdown that he had got at the pay-per-view as he was attacked by NXT Wrestling's Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Romain Reigns. And it just created a lot of buzz, a lot of questions, a lot of people wondering what was it that these guys had on Ryback. Why were they coming out attacking him? Ryback trying to seek revenge. He was not going to leave the arena until he got all three of those guys and anybody else that might have been involved with them. Vicky Guerrero would inform him that if he were to create any type of chaos, he would either be subjected to a fine and or suspension. She tried to cool him off, gave him that match with Tensai, squashed him. We see Ryback, as I just mentioned, later on in the night, crashing the scene of CM Punk's celebration as champion. And it looked like Ryback was about to get him some revenge when out of nowhere we see once again NXT Wrestling's Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Romain Reigns jump Ryback so good the first time, you got to do it again. They beat him down, put him through a table, just like at the pay-per-view. They sent him crashing through another announcer's table. That poor Spanish announcer's table, destroyed twice in less than 24 hours. That's just hilarious right there. True story, the Spanish announcer's table even has its own Twitter handle. Go look it up. You'll thank me later. That table, it be tweeting some really funny stuff. If you need a chuckle from time to time, check it out. I don't know how you're going to be able to find it. Maybe you could try Google search keywords WWE Spanish Announcers Table on Twitter, and you should be able to come across it that way. If anybody has a link, feel free to post it in the chat room there. It was one of those deals where you looked at it, and you see those final precious seconds of WWE Raw. You see CM Punk, Paul Heyman. They're looking at those three guys, and we got an update for Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns, as according to what the Spanish announcers had said when those trio of men popped up, they're being dubbed as the Shield. So this may give us a little bit of an insight into what the name of this stable might be. Take it for what it's worth, but this is supposedly now what the Spanish announcers had said on Raw from this past Monday night. Now, I actually am very fluent in Spanish. Out of 100%, I know about 65, 75% of Spanish. So I can easily go backtrack and confirm for you guys, and we'll confirm it on the RCWR Show Weekend Report. But, if that really is accurate, that stable name needs a little bit of work, for one. But I can run with it for now. But assuming that that's the name, we saw the Shield in the ring. Paul Heyman, CM Punk, they quickly left, and they're just looking on like, can't believe those guys just did that. CM Punk, he's looking at the damage that was caused to Ryback. All he can do is just celebrate and relish in the fact that he is still the WWE Champion, and you're just looking at that, you're saying, ooh, what a sweet moment right there. Nice, strong ending to Raw right there. Nice, good mixture of all those guys. Got everybody buzzing once again, wondering what is NXT's connection to Ryback, CM Punk, Paul Heyman. What exactly is going on here? And I think we may find that answer out sooner than expected. And I say that for very good reason. As the ratings for this past Monday night's Raw wasn't really that good. I'll let you know about that more in detail in just a later part of the show. But let's talk about the other angles that we had saw play out on Raw for Monday night. We had saw AJ Lee scandal continuation here. I must admit, though, this one was somewhat more, I found myself more into it this week, as we had saw Vicky Guerrero. She brings this random guy that turned out have worked as a valet at the same restaurant that Cena, AJ Lee were dining at, and she brings in a female that was the waitress for AJ and Cena, and we hear the waitress say that she witnessed them holding hands. It looked as if they were being very romantic, very personal with each other. For sure, it didn't look like it was business. And we see the valet guy. He talks about how a customer came to him complaining about how he witnessed Cena, AJ naked in a car doing things that he had a hard time explaining to his kids what they were doing. And we see AJ Lee. She comes out. She's pretty much had enough of Vicky Guerrero. And Vicky is telling the whole WWE Universe in front of AJ that she has a picture that she is about to show that shows the two of them naked in a car. That really would have been must-see TV right there. But unfortunately, we see John Cena comes out, and John Cena tells Vicky Guerrero, hey, look, you want to give people something to talk about? Well, then let's give them something to talk about. And he proceeds to lip lock AJ just to make a point. Of course, this lip lock would get reversed on Cena as AJ ended up standing there hot and dazed and confused, wanting more, and she ends up grabbing Cena, tongue-locking him. Luckily, we see Mr. Show-Off, Dolph Ziggler, come in here, and he attacks Cena. And we see Cena try to give chase to Ziggler, and unfortunately, he slides out the ring. He lands a little funny on his left leg, and he just goes skipping to the backstage area. Now, later on, and folks, keep that in mind now, what happened with that leg, because that was pretty much the running gag for the night here. As next scene, we see John Cena, backstage segment. He's getting his leg bandaged up. AJ's with him, saying sorry for what happened. Later on, we see AJ confront Vicky Guerrero as Tamina, new bodyguard, if you want to call her that, is there. And AJ telling Vicky, hey, look, Cena's hurt. What are you going to do about it? Vicky says, I'm not going to do anything. AJ, feeling as though she needed to take matters into her own hands, would go into the WWE men's locker room and confront Dolph Ziggler, where Dolph Ziggler has some poor choice words for her, letting her know that she always seems to make the same stupid mistakes over and over again. She basically falls for the wrong guy. Turns out it's a mistake, and she's basically left there looking stupid, and he pretty much tells her he's seen her type before, dime a dozen, nothing more than pathetic, trash. I mean, you think of it. Dolph Ziggler was putting it out there, and Ziggler calmly sits down, messing with his phone. AJ just starts beating the hell out of him. Cena comes in, tries to take off AJ. Ziggler, Cena, they are just brawling, and the fight actually goes to the bathroom stalls where there should have been some urinals. Was I the only one that was wondering where the I was about to curse. It's not even midnight yet, but I'm like wondering what in the is where's the urinals, man? You got these walls that's there, and it's like, okay, no urinals are behind there, no toilets are behind there, so Ziggler is just bone rushing John Cena, just tackling him through there, and we don't see no urinal, we don't see no toilet. It's like, okay, all right, whatever. Okay, we get the point. Ziggler focuses on that leg again, and the running gag of the night ends with, okay, looks like Cena's leg may be more injured than previously reported. We would later find out that apparently John Cena had went to go get an MRI earlier in the day, and that's pretty much the gist of it. That's what he had released in a little Twitter statement, that he got an MRI done and looks like the leg might need to be operated on. He went in, he went out, whatever. Take that for what it's worth. I mean, unless you see X-ray pictures and doctors actually opening up the leg, as WWE, they love showing that type of stuff, as they try to use those type of images to try to hype up the return of a wrestler. Unless you see some images like that and the X-rays and all of that, just don't even pay that no mind for what it's worth right now. Just consider that to be part of a story angle. It's so funny how we have a lot of people, oh my God, is John Cena okay? I hope John Cena comes back stronger than ever. It's like, just chill, little Jimmy. He's going to be okay, all right? Just chill. But, you know, besides the whole AJ scandal, which, yes, without a doubt, it was a bit of a snoozer, I must admit, I did love seeing Dolph Ziggler, John Cena just getting it on. That, for me, was icing on the cake. It just really fuels up their rivalry even more. It makes me even more eagerly anticipated to see them lock it up at the TLC pay-per-view. And I'm hoping that we get to see these two guys go at it at that pay-per-view. That would really be phenomenal right there. Of course, we got to talk about some of the matches that we had saw take place during the night. You know, we were talking about Tamina earlier, and it's so funny because in a Backstage Pass segment, exclusive to WWE.com. The question was asked to Tamina, basically, why did she join Vicky Guerrero? What exactly does she have against AJ? Why did she attack AJ? And Tamina seems to be channeling what a majority of wrestling fans have been saying about AJ, which is Tamina basically saying, hey, I didn't like AJ Lee as the Raw general manager. I don't like the fact that she's running around and, she needs to learn a thing or two about respect, and she doesn't respect Vicky Guerrero. I'm here to make sure that nothing happens to Vicky, but that AJ basically knows her place. Kind of nice what's happening there. I like that. It's been a while since we've seen a female bodyguard of some sort. So nice role that Tamina is in right now. That should suit her well for a little bit. Like seeing her in those power executive suits there. Makes her look even more attractive. I actually find her more attractive in that type of attire than I would in her ring attire. So go figure. All right, let's talk about some of the matches that we had. So, we were just talking about the women right there. We saw Caitlyn defeat Asuka in a backstage pass exclusive to WWE.com. Cameras caught up with Asuka, and they had asked her why did she attack Caitlyn. And the only thing Asuka would say, very short and brief, not really that much of an impact, as it wasn't even that long of a segment. Asuka basically telling the camera guys that she's willing to do whatever it takes to get to wherever she needs to go. Basically, she's willing to do whatever to get ahead, and she starts asking the cameraman, who does he know? And the cameraman's like, I don't really know anybody. And Asuka's like, who do you know? What do you have? And the cameraman's like, I got friends, I got family, and Asuka is pretty much done with the interview at this point. So it looks like she's kind of going back to the way she had used Teddy Long there. Very curious to see where this new development takes Asuka. In ring-wise, she still needs a little bit of work, but she does have my attention with her beauty. I mean, she is just visually a stunning piece of work. I'll say it, and I'll leave it at that. We saw Antonio Cesaro defeat Brodus Clay as R-Truth was looking on. Looks like R-Truth isn't quite done yet with the United States Champion. Looks like possibly we might see Truth and Cesaro lock it up again. Randy Orton had took on Alberto Del Rio in a 2 out of 3 falls match. One of the things that I have to complain about that match, it wasn't long enough. I mean, you got 3 hours to kill, guys. Why not really have some fun with this match? And quite honestly, I was expecting at least a half-hour match, and we didn't even really get that. And that was the funny part. I've seen better 2 out of 3 falls matches within recent years, and it just kind of seemed like we were getting a half-assed match. Excuse my French, but I'm speaking the truth here. I really couldn't sink my teeth into this match, but in either case, we saw Randy Orton defeat Alberto Del Rio. Again, 2 out of 3 falls match. Great Khali made his return, and he defeated Primo and Epico. That was pretty much a filler match. Really nothing you can sink your teeth into, although we did see Hornswoggle come out, and he squirted Rosa Mendez with some flowers that he had. And nice job that he did right there. That's just funny in itself. A midget squirting a pretty tall woman in the eyes. That's funny. We saw Miz, and it looks like the crowd is actually starting to work in favor of the Miz now, as we are officially seeing the beginnings of a babyface turn for the Miz. You all, the listeners, you had asked a question a couple of weeks back if it was even possible to entertain the idea of Miz being babyface, and I did say, yeah, we can for sure see it happen. Could it happen in a way where maybe he could become even more popular than Randy Orton? Well, looks like based off of the early reviews, Miz is doing pretty good, but should be interesting to see what's going to happen on WWE's main event. this coming Wednesday, where Miz is going to be taking on Dolph Ziggler. I'm very curious to see how that match will play out. We also saw Sheamus, former World Heavyweight Champion, take on Damian Sandow, and there was a great confrontation between Sheamus and the Big Show before this match even happened. And we just saw Sheamus basically talking about how he's no longer smiling. He's pretty much lost it because now he is all about business. He is peed off with Big Show for beating up his good friend William Regal. He's even more pissed off at what had happened with their Survivor Series match, and he wants another shot at the Big Show. Well, Big Show would come out limping and all, still feeling the injuries from their match just hours ago, would tell Sheamus that he did what he needed to do. He knocked him out at Hell in a Cell, just like he said he would, and he beat him again this past Sunday. He is done with Sheamus as far as he's concerned. It's time for him to move on. And we just saw these two guys just going back and forth. Big Show cutting some really great, intense promo right there. I was really hooked on what all he was saying. I need to see more of that fire come out of him because he really had my attention right there. That is the way the Big Show should have always been utilized, quite honestly. But, again, we saw Sheamus, Damian Sandow. I was kicking back watching this match, and, you know, I really couldn't care less about Sheamus in this match. I already knew what Sheamus is capable of. Sheamus, hands down, the guy can put on some really great matches. You just get him with that right person. He can have a pretty good, memorable match. And that match against Damian Sandow was memorable for me for all the right reasons. Number one, because I'm a huge Damian Sandow fan. And just seeing the way he was able to handle himself with the former World Heavyweight Champion, I mean, it just solidified in my mind even more that Damian Sandow is truly deserving of a singles push. And quite honestly, it is one of those riddles that just continues to just go unsolved. I mean, we all know the answer to it, but apparently WWE hasn't gotten the memo, which is why does WWE keep pulling all the good people off of SmackDown that looks like they're going somewhere? You know, Damian Sandow, with all due respect, great athlete. I mean, he's got great charisma. He's just out of the gate. He's just got everything you want in a wrestler. Why he is on the Raw roster, it really just rattles my mind because it seemed like earlier in the year when they first drafted him over there, he was actually kind of doing a little bit of stuff, but it just seems like as of late he's just been kind of just jobbing to people. And, you know, it's kind of sad because now that Cody Rhodes, who unfortunately is injured in like 2-3 different areas, no ETA on when he's going to be coming back, you just got Damian Sandow just floating there, and it just kind of came off as if, at least this is my early impression, and I hope I'm wrong, but the early impression I'm getting from this is Damian Sandow, he's just left alone, and now he's just going to be a jobber maybe until Cody Rhodes comes back or something. Let him go back to the SmackDown brand. Let him build back up his stock again. You know, quite honestly, you know, the Blue Brand misses him very badly. I mean, I can remember a time where Sandow was one of the main highlights for SmackDown, and, you know, now, you know, you don't really have too many highlights for SmackDown anymore. Same argument can be made for Ryback. Used to be a time where one of the highlights for SmackDown was tuning in to see Ryback. Don't really see Ryback making that many appearances on the Blue Brand anymore. But it is what it is, but Sandow, we got to see something happen with him. Now is the time to strike out because if that match that he had against Sheamus didn't convince the guys in the back that he is ready for a more elevated push, then I don't know what will make them sit up and say, okay, you know, well, what can we do with him now? But I just thought he had a really great outing with the former World Heavyweight Champion. I actually wouldn't mind seeing the two of those guys lock it up again, quite honestly. But overall, solid episode of WWE Raw coming off of their Survivor Series pay-per-view, as it is just really looking like early groundwork has been laid out for their next pay-per-view, which is going to be TLC, happening December 16th. I believe it's going to be happening in New York. We'll have to double-check and make sure, but if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be happening in New York. And, it's just one of those things right now where I'm looking at this, and you know what? There's one match, and I'm glad I'm still talking about Raw. One match had almost slipped my mind here, and I would be yelled at if I had skipped this match. Actually, two more matches. Forgive me. Wade Barrett had took on Kofi Kingston, and this was a great encounter right here where Wade Barrett was talking about how disgusted he is that Kofi Kingston is the Intercontinental Champion. Wade Barrett wants to get that belt and bring high prestige back to it. And first step to getting that title shot, of course, got to be Kofi Kingston. And that's exactly what he had did in this match against Kofi. Of course, we saw Barrett take out Kofi with that devastating bullhorn clothesline. That's the combination he likes to call it there. I want to see Winds of Change. What the hell happened to that move? I was liking that more than the bullhorn clothesline. That just has a sloppy name to it when you freaking hear it. But we saw that, and you know what? We would actually find out just earlier today, Wade Barrett has apparently been awarded a shot at Kofi Kingston's Intercontinental title. It's yet to be determined when these two guys will be getting it on, though. 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be happening at TLC. And the other match that I almost forgot about, we saw Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara. They had took on Kane and Daniel Bryan. Now, unfortunately, this match had ended in a no contest as the primetime players were at ringside and they were offering commentating. And it was actually some chuckling moments there as Titus O'Neil was the one really doing all the talking, and he actually kind of had me chuckle a few times. I don't know about some people. Some people thought it was crappy that they were out there, but I actually thought they had some pretty funny moments out there. But we did see them interfere in this match, and how the tides had turned so quickly, though. We ended up seeing Sin Cara attack Darren Young, and he basically had set Darren up to be tangled in the ropes. Titus O'Neil, he too would get tangled in the ropes, and perfect fixings for Rey Mysterio, who was able to do the 619. And you see Kane, he gets in his little choke slam spot in there, and you're just kind of left with the impression that we could be seeing all three of these tag teams possibly get it on for those tag belts. And quite honestly, I would be so sold on a triple threat tag match at TLC. I just think that would really be badass. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to see a tag team versus tag team. Let's see a triple threat or a fatal four-way. That would be nice. Quite honestly, we probably would have had a fatal four-way for the tag belts if Cody didn't get injured. I'm curious what's going to happen with Damian Sandow here, because WWE, they're in a little bit of a stalemate mode right now. Do they continue going down that tag route and try to find a new partner for Sandow, or do they just try to throw in maybe Epico Primo or Justin Gabriel, Tyson Kidd, let them slide on in there while they try to buy themselves a little bit more time on what to do with Sandow? But looks like we got the ingredients right here from this tag match. Looks like these tag teams, surely they're going to be getting it on at TLC. So overall, great episode of Raw that we had got for this past Monday night. And, really looking forward to seeing how they continue this build for the TLC. And, a lot to look forward to next week, guys. I mean, hopefully, and I'm looking into my crystal ball here, I strongly believe that we might get these NXT wrestlers. They might break their silence. There was part of me that was kind of thinking maybe they could be silent for maybe 2, maybe 3 more weeks but based on the early reports for the WWE Raw ratings, I don't think it's going to last that long. Now, we have put the tweet out there earlier today, and it looks like the ratings that have come in for Monday's Raw had scored a 2.72 rating with only 3.835 million viewers. Now, this is down from last week's episode, which had scored a 2.94 rating, right? So you just look at that, and it should also be noted that this is the 14th consecutive week, guys, that WWE's viewership has declined going from hour 2 to 3. I don't know about you, but when you hear those type of stats, you're kind of like, well, what is it about that third hour that's not really keeping fans really into it to stick around, if you will? I don't know. Maybe Monday Night Football? I mean, I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together. Those of you in the chat room, what week of football are we on now? Have we hit week 10 already? Are we on week 11? Sometimes I lose count, but, you know, one argument could be made that maybe the 3 hours is just too long. I mean, there's a lot of combinations. So many arguments could be made out of it, but when you hear that Raw wasn't that successful coming fresh off of a pay-per-view, as usually Raw has proven from time to time, it comes fresh off of a pay-per-view, the numbers are usually strong. I don't want to say like powerhouse strong, but the numbers are usually solid. So to see these kind of numbers come in, you know, I know our staff had offered their analysis of what to make of this past Monday's ratings, and honestly, I agree with it completely. I think the overall analysis, I agree. You know, hey, it's Thanksgiving week. People are probably commuting. I mean, you know, you can't really trip over it too much, but at the same time, it might have WWE writers in somewhat of a panic mode. So keep that in mind, and don't be too surprised if you might see Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns break their silence next week, because quite honestly, they kind of had something going here. I wouldn't have mind seeing them do these jump attacks on Ryback for a couple of more weeks. Could have had it be a nice little silent running gag, kind of like what they were doing there when Jericho first came back, and he almost went, what guys, like an entire month without talking, just popping up and pointing. I mean, that was some really hilarious stuff right there. And, you know, am I the only one that keeps thinking when I hear Roman Reigns? Am I the only one that's thinking of Luther Reigns? I mean, I must be old school if I can remember Luther Reigns. And for those of you that are like, who's Luther Reigns? Google is your best friend. And when you see him, you're going to be like, man, that guy looks like a freaking monster. And he was a monster. I mean, that guy, I love that guy to death. I was sad when he walked away from the WWE because I looked at him with high regard. I compared him to the likes of Matt Morgan. You know, it's kind of like one of those, you know, seeing Luther Reigns and then thinking about Matt Morgan, it kind of reminds me of that Incredible Hulk story that's floating around where in the near distant future, the Incredible Hulk, he becomes is it Sinestro or I can't think of the name. It's been so long since I've been into the comics, but basically in the near distant future, the Hulk, he becomes this evil bad guy, and he's got like this white beard, white hair, and he's just been like destroying everything, and he's the one responsible for the destruction of Earth. And I don't know, it's just kind of weird when I look at a guy like Matt Morgan and I'm thinking of Luther Reigns, and then you see this guy come in named Roman Reigns. Automatically I'm thinking Luther Reigns. My message basically is change the freaking name because I keep thinking of Luther Reigns, but I don't know. You know, we got some people that are comparing the Shield to that of when Rocky Maivia made his debut, how quickly that spread it like wildfire. And I will say it's a moment, but what's really important right now, these guys, they have a golden opportunity. They really need to be able to make the best of it. They really need to be able to capitalize on it, and they need to capitalize on it in a way that could really do it justice. I mean, it really needs to be up there with Wade Barrett. I mean, let's not forget when all those guys had popped up, when the Nexus showed up and they just gave that brutal beatdown to, John Cena there. I mean, that was some really like, oh, my God, what the heck did we just see here? So, but yeah, that's all I got to say about that. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take a very brief commercial break, come right back, and go through some random little tidbits of wrestling-related news. Not really too much has been happening out there. And we'll take you guys' calls, give you guys some programming notes. So stick around. You're checking out the RCWR Show, Tuesday Night Wrestling Report, coming at you live right now on October 20th, 2012, just 5 minutes before the midnight hour. We'll be coming right back, folks. Do hang tight.
Hey guys, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders here, and I just wanted to take this time out to thank you for checking out this episode tonight. And you know, if you like what you had heard tonight and you want more, then be sure to check us out every single Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on this website at blogtalkradio.com, also on our sister website at InfinityOneProductions.com, where every single week you'll be able to get that wrestling fix, as we'll give you guys the latest fallout from Monday's WWE Raw, share with you the reviews, honest analysis, no BS, no fluff, just what you want when you need it most, and we'll also get you guys caught up on the very latest in WWE wrestling-related headlines and so much more. And the best part about all this is that every single week we will be sharing with you all live fan reactions, as we want to hear from you, whether it is in our active chat room or you're interacting with us as we are live in progress by hitting us up on Twitter at InfinityOneProd, Facebook at InfinityOneProductions.com. We give you the necessary tools that's necessary to be able to interact with us each and every single week. For those of you that like to call into the show, hey, guess what? You'll be able to do that as well. This is the show that is for you, the wrestling fans, to be able to share your thoughts, your reactions, your likes, dislikes to what you had saw from Raw this past Monday night, or whatever's got you talking as far as wrestling-related news. So be sure to check us out every single Tuesday night, as it's our Tuesday night wrestling report edition of the RCWR Show at 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show, and at our sister website at InfinityOneProductions.com. Hey, you're going to miss our episode that's live in progress, won't be able to catch up with it until later. That's not a problem. Check us out on the downloads in the iTunes, Zune marketplaces, also on Stitcher, just by using the keywords, the RCWR Show.
Black Avenger, Lee Sanders here. You're listening to the RCWR Show, coming at you live right now on October 20th, 2012, 1 minute past the midnight hour, almost Wednesday. We'll say good morning to you guys right now on the East Coast. All right, so, you know, WWE, the Attitude Era, is now out on DVD. In case you might have missed it, if you might be a little bit on the fence about picking it up, we did hear early reports there, and I actually heard from somebody who I will let go unnamed that had came across a copy a little early, a couple of weeks early, and it's because where they work. And they had screened it, and the DVD really kicks ass. I hear that there really is not that many edits. So for those of you that remember the Attitude Era there, you remember how raunchy it was and the language and all that other stuff, you all will be quite pleased with this DVD. Of course, we will have a full review for it, if not maybe during this weekend, sometime next week. There's actually a couple of DVDs we got to review that have been on the back burner. But, yeah, it's out in stores right now. Check it out. Just love how Vince McMahon is really milking the Attitude Era for all it's worth right now. Great timing since it's the holidays. I mean, what better way to put some money in your pocket after your wife lost than to bank on that Attitude Era. I love it. I mean, you know, maybe Linda needs to lose more often if it means we can get more Attitude Era content. I mean, seriously. And, of course, we didn't even plug it the last time we were on the air. The new NWO DVD is out, NWO Revolution. Check that out. The Brock Lesnar DVD. You know, I can't stress it enough. I love what WWE is doing with these remastered releases, like what they were doing with the Brock Lesnar NWO. I love the fact that they are backtracking to DVDs that they released like 7, 6, or 10 years ago almost, and they're adding new matches, new chapters, new bonus content. I love that. I think that they found a new little niche that hopefully a lot of other folks will take a note from. You know, I mean, how cool would that be to see something like that expand as far as maybe one of your favorite movies or something like that? Maybe there's something you never really knew about. Like, I know some people are a little bit on the fence about it, and I don't want to get all in depth and talk about it, but I've heard that there is some unreleased footage of Heath Ledger as the Joker. And Christopher Nolan, the director, he is just hell-bent on not releasing this footage. He doesn't want to share it. He just wants for folks to remember his performance in the movie just as it was. He just doesn't want them seeing the bonus footage. And it's kind of like, well, let the viewers be the judge of that. Put it out there, and if they decide they want to check it out, let them check it out. You know, maybe you could put in a new little chapter just talking about Heath, you know, but WWE's use of it, I mean, I think they are really on to something, and it just makes me kick back and go, well, wow, what else can they do, you know, with the other DVDs that came out, you know, some years prior, you know. Really interesting stuff right there. Wrestling-related news, not really too much is out there that really jumped my eyes, at least. I know one thing that kind of had my eyebrow raised was hearing CM Punk's displeasure of WWE not promoting his appearance on AMC's upcoming show, Talking Dead. For those of you that are like, what the hell? Well, if you watch The Walking Dead, then you'll know. And if you don't know anything about The Walking Dead, my God, that's like an entire show itself, just trying to get you guys caught up. All I can say is if you love zombies, you love seeing zombies get their heads blown off, that's the show for you, okay? Check that out. But CM Punk is supposed to be making an appearance on the show this Sunday. And it's funny because if I'm not mistaken, and somebody in the chat room correct me, but if I'm not mistaken, CM Punk has a walk-on role as a zombie on The Walking Dead, which is prompting him to be on the post-show Talking Dead, talking about the episode. Now, I could be wrong right there, but I could have sworn CM Punk did say he scored a walk-on role as a zombie. So, and thank you, Dave, for confirming that. Yeah, he does have a walk-on role as a zombie. So For those of you that, want to check it out, I don't know if it's going to happen on this episode, but he is going to be on Talking Dead. And it's so funny because WWE, they did not promote his appearance. Instead, they briefly mentioned how he's going to be in Chicago. He's going to be taking part in the Turkey Day Parade as he's going to be the Grand Marshal. And he just took to Twitter and he was just talking about his frustration, talking about how the company hadn't shown him respect. They should have been hyping his AMC appearance as early as the Survivor Series pay-per-view. And he was just really letting them have it. We got it at our website. Go check it out. Some nice, interesting tweets that he put out there. And, quite honestly, some would say, well, CM Punk doing this, and we did later find out CM Punk had made this move without getting clearance from the WWE. So some people kind of wonder if maybe WWE is kind of punishing Punk a little bit by not mentioning his Walking Dead appearance, trying to, teach him a thing or two about, hey, next time you need to make sure that you clear it with us. We have other people that are really overanalyzing it and are wondering if WWE is just getting back at him for assaulting the fan a couple of weeks back. My God, guys, you are just overanalyzing the hell out of that too much. If there's one thing that you should know by now about the WWE is if they aren't the ones that have created the buzz, if they aren't the ones that have sat up and be the brains behind whatever it is that you're seeing, then, they really don't want to have anything to do with it. And this is purely a case of that. Look no further than every single time Chris Jericho decides he wants to dip into outside projects that have no affiliation with the WWE and how much WWE doesn't really want him doing these outside things, these different projects. As let's not forget the latest project that Chris Jericho is dumping into. He's signed on to do some new reality show, kind of playing off of Hugh Jackman in that, what's that, Real Steel movie or whatever with the fighting robots or whatever. It looks like there's going to be some type of a bounty cash prize on the line for whoever ends up being the winner for their respective team or whatever. Jericho dipping into a lot of different projects here. But, honestly, I think what CM Punk did, I think he did a phenomenal job. It does suck that WWE is not capitalizing on this. Instead, if you were watching Raw, what you saw them hype up was their wrestling soup appearance that they're going to be doing on the E-channel. Like, who the hell cares? I don't know about you guys. I don't care about that crap. I'm not watching that. I just want to watch the daggone wrestling. I don't want to see all that little. I mean, what's next? We're going to have WWE talent pop up on an episode of 90210, or we're going to have WWE superstars pop up on Green Arrow. I mean, anything can happen at this point. I mean, seriously, but I don't care about them being on E. I wouldn't even care if one of them had made an appearance on The Price is Right. I mean, that's, I don't care about that stuff. But to be able to land a role on The Walking Dead, I think that is pretty freaking solid. Let's go on ahead and let's open up the phone lines now. Feel free to jump on in there, get in your calls. Number to call, 646-478-3525. Once again, 646-478-3525. Kick on back, smile and dial, and feel free to call us right now. Let's go now to our good buddy, Dave from the Michigan area. Dave, you're live, my friend.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good, man. You ready for Turkey Day?
Yeah. Yeah, not too bad. I got the Attitude Era already ready for Saturday, my birthday, so I got that on my birthday list.
Sweet.
Yeah. Hey, Punk better watch out. Miz is ready to take his spot.
Looks like it.
He's like, you got to keep messing up. They got the Miz right there sitting, waiting to go.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to, let's be honest, we're not going to get each Monday night, each Thursday night, each Friday night. We're not going to get Wednesday night. We're not, every night of the week it seems like now. But we're not going to get a perfect show from top to bottom. Every single match is not going to be perfect. Mm-hmm. Every single Raw is not going to be perfect. So it just gets sick of hearing people complain about, like, okay, yeah, Raw, parts of Raw was good tonight. If it would have been just 2 hours, or last night, if it would have been just 2 hours, would it have been like, okay, yeah, but with the extra hour they have, this guy, well, we got 3 really good matches on Raw. You could actually pick 4. Yeah. That tag match was hilarious. They didn't get no time from the commentators, but I mean, geez, they were just Bash Cole and O'Neal, and Derek Young didn't really say crap. I think O'Neal said one point, put your dukes up, say something.
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, Cole was just killing them both on the mic.
He was.
Like, dang. Cole just owned those guys. Like, dude, like, say something.
Yeah.
But I felt bad forcing Cara Ray and them, though, in a way, too. Because they're sitting there bashing each other, and there's a match going on, and all you're really hearing is those two joke off with each other.
Yeah.
And it was just the whole Paul Heyman thing, too. I mean, Homie said it last week, too. I mean, he was saying, he did the same thing that Paul Heyman said, and if you remember that, he's like, you say you want Attitude Era, and we give you a little bit extreme, we give you a little bit edge, and then everyone complains about it, which is true because, hey, you want to talk about, remember an infamous ECW moment where Kurt Angle was supposed to join them, and Raven was doing some crucifixion thing, and Kurt Angle walked out. He wanted nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So they do push the envelope too far at points. They did do it. So, I mean, you can see stuff like that, and like, okay, I mean, even the Attitude Era did go too far at some points. The KD Vic thing, yeah, that was really too far.
Yeah.
Oh, Triple H screwing a dead person in a coffin? I mean, that was pretty bad. Funny, but pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, yeah.
But I did enjoy Raw tonight, and are you saying tonight for some reason? But last night,
it really was a good. It really was a good episode when you think about it. I mean, we all could be in agreement. We really didn't care about the latest development in the AJ thing, but to see Cena and Ziggler do their thing, it was nice. I just wish people would not be so fast to hit the panic button when they see the ratings. It's like, it's a freaking holiday week. Don't really sweat it. A lot of people are traveling right now.
Ravens Steelers, come on, that's like a big game, and
exactly.
A lot of markets anyway.
Exactly, yeah. And the way the Ravens been playing, whew.
Yeah.
Well, Steelers too, but then again, yeah, ain't got Big Ben. Now we're hearing that talk about Donovan McNabb there. It's like, nah, we don't. Steelers, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have respect for the Steelers. Don't get Donovan McNabb, please don't.
Just run the ball.
Yeah, seriously, But how does that make you feel, though? Let's talk about that CM Punk thing, because I really didn't get a chance to pick your brain on that. I know we asked Homie, but how does that make you feel to possibly see CM Punk in a position where he could be coughing up that strap to The Rock in just, less than 40 days?
Yeah, I know, it's pretty, I hate it because me and some people last night watching around were talking about this. He's saying, well, do you think Rey Mysterio deserves a title shot? I said, he deserves one more than The Rock does. These guys, I feel bad for all these guys. Even when Trish Stratus came back for that match with Snooki and all that. I mean, these guys are here all year busting their ass to make it, to get a shot to wrestle at WrestleMania. And then these guys come in once a year, and The Rock let's be honest, The Rock did not look good at all in that match against Cena.
No.
Cena carried him.
No, yeah, he did.
I mean, it was just like, and The Rock, you got 20 guys in the back who probably done a better job than The Rock did.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's hope he's going to be in better condition this time around.
Yeah, he's going to need to be. He needs to be. And
I mean to have him be the champion and I would love to see CM Punk break some of these records. Because I was sitting there saying last night, I was like, man, we're in like a stage. When's the last time someone's been champion for a year?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is like, wow, we're like witnessing like history like right now. And some people might hate CM Punk. I'm not a Punk fan, but I like what I'm seeing from the WWE.
Right.
I like how we're seeing these new stars. I like how we're seeing a new champion, like our CM Punk state champion. I mean, why not? I mean, today's wrestling, you could book someone in a storyline 2 or 3 months, and that's how you keep them for the title for even longer.
Right.
You could book Dolph and Punk for like 3 months if you wanted to.
And well, you know what? Let me offer this because it almost slipped past my mind, and I was teasing you guys about it. And in a nutshell, because I don't want to have it be all long and drawn out, but remember earlier in the show I was saying, you know, I have a message for WWE. If they might be a little bit hesitant to put the belt on The Rock, you know, as Dave said and as a number of fans have been saying, you got CM Punk in a perfect position right now where he could continue to go on and break numbers. And quite honestly, I'm looking at the match between CM Punk, The Rock, come Royal Rumble 2013. And if I was booking this, and I'm putting my booking cap on, I'm putting my writing cap on, if I were to do this match, what I would have happen, hands down, I would give the fans what they want. I would give them their money's worth. I would have these guys just do a slugfest. I'd let The Rock just come like a bull off the break. I would just have him just own CM Punk. Let them do their thing on the outside, and some type of a critical point happens where the momentum shifts over to Punk's favor, and Punk just starts working on The Rock for a little bit, then goes back to The Rock. You know, they just start having a great exchange of counters, and, you know, right when it looks like we're about to get a new WWE champion, I would actually have John Cena come out, and I would have him interfere in the match. And why would I have him interfere in the match? Because Payback is a bitch. Let's not forget, folks, it was the WrestleMania 27, if I'm not mistaken, where John Cena had an opportunity there against The Miz, and The Rock had cost him the shot, and then the groundwork was laid out for the two of these guys to collide at WrestleMania 28. I don't know about you, but if I'm The Rock or somebody else, I'm just thinking from a writing standpoint. Okay, The Rock just cost you the WWE Championship on the grandest stage of them all. Don't you want a little bit of payback? Don't you want a little bit of retribution? So I would have John Cena screw The Rock. CM Punk retains another name that he can add on the list. And guess what? You've officially set up your WrestleMania rematch. You were entertaining the idea originally, but you kind of feared the whole, well, we already did like a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing. Well, you guys, you did do that, but, I mean, come on, revenge is sweeter. And, it would be nice to see that mean streak kind of come out of John Cena, get that old school John Cena that we saw there working with The Rock leading up into WrestleMania. We could see that John Cena resurface in January and just be sticking around all the way up until after WrestleMania. Everybody wins. CM Punk, in the meantime, he could go on to bigger things, Now, see, here's the real question. Well, okay, Lee, you do that. Well, what are you going to have CM Punk do at WrestleMania? Well, if they can get Miz right where he needs to be, Miz could be one that could take on the WWE Champion at WrestleMania. That's a new, fresh rivalry right there. Pick up on something that Dave had said. Do a program with somebody for 2-3 months. There's your opportunity right there. Hell, you could actually have The Miz win the Royal Rumble. If you're really trying to have him be a mega baby face, have him win the freaking Rumble. What a great way to really get the crowd, we already got that hardcore crowd that doesn't really like Miz because they're like, oh, now they're trying to turn him face. They're trying to force us to like him. Nobody's trying to force you to like him. You either have liked the Miz since he initially came into the WWE, you've appreciated his transitions to where he is now, or you just don't like the guy. If you're like most people, you appreciate all the hard work he's been putting in the company, proving that he's owned his keep in the organization, then you'll actually be rooting him on come Royal Rumble 2013. That's pretty much how you do it right there. Let's get another caller. I didn't mean to get sidetracked right there, but I'm sure you appreciate what I'm saying there. You got to admit, that'd be the solid way to go right there, especially if you're trying to figure out how to get to a Rock versus Cena too. Let's go to our good friend, Homie, from the San Antonio area. Homie, you live, my friend.
Hey, good evening, Lee.
Hey, good evening. Ready for Turkey Day?
Oh, yeah. First of all, I want to say happy Thanksgiving just in case I don't call in on Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving in advance to you too, bro.
And I enjoyed Raw. I thought it was pretty good, top to bottom. 3 hours, it does lag sometimes. It's like, oh, come on, same thing, recaps and stuff like that. But I enjoyed pretty much all the matches that were on Raw. And the primetime players shined for me. I thought they were entertaining. And all the segments that they were in, the backstage with AJ Lee and on commentary, they killed it.
They did, yeah. Wash rags.
Well, I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Would you rather be world champion for 1 year, or would you rather have the Ric Flair achievement of having the title 16 times?
Oh, no. Sorry, hands down. World champion for 1 year.
Yeah, it seems like that's a bigger achievement because I had no idea Shawn Michaels or Stone Cold or any of them didn't have it for a year. I was actually surprised to see that.
It is surprising to hear that, isn't it? It's even more surprising, homie. It's even more surprising to hear that the guy that is going to be the future heir of World Wrestling Entertainment, Triple H, as long as those reigns had been, that we can remember, it's surprising that he never went a full solid year as a champion. I mean, that's mind-boggling in itself.
Yeah, I agree. I was surprised to see that you would think you'd see Austin and Triple H up there, and they weren't. I was actually surprised to see that.
Yeah. That was a real mind. Yeah.
I really hope they go the route that you have with The Rock, Punk, because all this hype with him having it for a year and him hyping himself up to, be the longest reigning champion ever, it would be kind of pointless to have him just lose it, like that at Royal Rumble, and then, then what? What are you gonna do with Punk then? That's my thing. If he loses the belt, who are you gonna have him face at WrestleMania?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. And quite honestly, if they decide that they want to go the route of The Rock, and they want it to be Rock versus Cena for the title, so basically you want for The Rock to give the belt to John Cena. So basically John Cena's going to win the Academy Award for being the guy that has done so much for the company this year. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying that. I mean, CM Punk is still white hot right now, and let's face it, you still got some legs left in CM Punk. There are still some really awesome combinations that we haven't seen yet. I mean, we still haven't seen Brock Lesnar against CM Punk. I'm very curious to see how that would work out. I know a lot of people really wouldn't want to see that match because they're like, man, just thinking about the size differential, it would be a squash match. I beg to differ. I think it would be a really entertaining match, if the story leading into it is done in a way that, you actually do want to see these two guys and you do believe that one of them could walk away out of it victorious. You could believe more in CM Punk having that chance. There's so many combinations that we just haven't seen yet of CM Punk
being able to do. And, unfortunately, we would get the same recycled stuff if it just so happens that John Cena becomes the champion. I don't know about you guys. I'm not really interested in seeing John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio for the gazillionth time. I'm not really interested in that. I'm just thinking offhand with the current roster that we have right now, what all could you possibly do with Cena as a champion? And not to jump ahead here, I mean, because, we're talking, April 2013, but you would definitely need to shake things up with the WWE roster, maybe do some type of a draft or something like that. I know they skipped the draft this time around, but maybe you would need to try to quietly bring in some more SmackDown guys over to the other side to, work with Cena. I know folks don't want to see John Cena versus Big Show, so there's still endless combinations that you can do with CM Punk is my main message, and should be interesting to see what's going to happen here. Of course, it's nice to talk ahead, but, I think that was good roundtable discussion. I do thank those of you that had called into the show tonight, Dave as always, Homie as always, all of you that have checked out the show tonight. Programming note, Thanksgiving Day. We will be doing a new episode of Impact Showdown Radio, but since it's the Thanksgiving holiday, we want to make sure that you guys have had your fixings and been able to spend some really good time with your family. The show that we're going to be doing on Thursday, we will be covering the fallout from Impact Wrestling, but it's going to be a short episode. We're going to come on for about 45 minutes, go through the results. You're more than welcome to call into the show if you like. Otherwise, just kick back and, for your own downloading, listening pleasure, check out that episode if you aren't able to catch it live. And then, of course, this Saturday, it'll be the return of the RCWR show Weekend Report. And we're going to just give you guys the full fixings there. We'll get you guys caught up with the very latest in WWE wrestling-related news, TNA wrestling-related news, entertainment news beyond. We got some albums that we're going to review for you guys. It's going to be some pretty solid stuff. So there you have it. Talk of Wrestling might end here, but it never ends on our website. Hop on over to InfinityOneProductions.com for the very latest and wrestling-related news and beyond. Also, you can befriend us on Twitter at InfinityOneProd, Facebook at InfinityOneProductions. Be sure to subscribe to us in the iTunes and Zune marketplaces. Just use the keywords, RCWR Show. Hey, you like the show? Show that support. Leave that review for us in the iTunes store when you get a free moment. You don't have to type up an essay. Just type in some words. Let us know you appreciate the show. And that's pretty much going to do it. So if we don't hear from you guys, as we are going to be doing a new episode this Thursday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, but if we don't hear from you guys, everybody have a safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving holiday. Enjoy the football games that we'll be getting. And we'll see you later this week and, of course, this weekend. I'm the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. You all be safe and be kind to one another, folks. We'll see you next time. Do take care.